watching the Lone Cowboy Hour. I'm Michael Morton Murphy. Lone Cowboy, Lone Cowboy, Lone Cowboy. Well, around this time of year, back in the day when we still had an arena in Red River, biggest mistake the town ever made was letting developers buy that piece of land and put condos. Because that arena was a place where kids came, learned to ride horses, and every year we had the Red River Rodeo Queen contest. And my daughter ran for it 3 times, lost twice, and the last year she won. And she said she was going to retire. She achieved her goal at 16 years old. My daughter Laura loved horses and still does. She's gone on to become a beautiful woman and a successful executive at Adidas shoe company because she always loved sports. Grew up a snowboarder, jogger, skier. I'll never forget when she won that rodeo contest. We went back to the cabin and we had a big party with all the girls that she ran against. Now, pardon me for generalizing, but have you ever noticed that at the end of a contest, even though the claws come out during the contest, when girls get together after it's over, it's all cool and they have a good time? And that was when my daughter announced she was going to let somebody else win next year, and she was going to step down. Boys, on the other hand, don't even have a party. They stalk off the field when it's over. At least the guys that are the losers. And they're always trying to figure out some reason why it was the referee's fault. Or it was some other's fault, or somebody did something wrong. They just can't really sign on to the fact that they might have been responsible for their own loss. On that night, campfire was glowing so bright that I could see the yellow leaves. And I knew that that time in my life was coming, when my daughter would be moving away. Got a duck out there that went through the same thing. So I wrote this song for her. It's called Laura's Song, or Summer Ranges. I wish that summer could last forever. Cold winds never reach our door. I wish old partners could ride forever on summer ranges forevermore. Snow must fall on summer ranges. Old friends must face the bitter wind. Someday when the season changes on summer ranges, we'll ride again. So may always warm you, make the sun dance in your heart. May thoughts of parting never harm you, for true partners never part. Snow must fall on summer ranges, old friends must face the bitter wind. Someday when the season changes on summer ranges, we'll ride again. From this valley, they say you are going. I shall miss your bright eyes and sweet smile, for they say that you're taking the sunshine that has brightened our pathway aways. Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu, but remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. You know, there was a watering hole called Texas Red Saloon in old Red River town. And there was an old piano there that was blistered, marred, and brown. And there was a man who was more battered than that piano, taking drinks for fees, as he played all night from memory over the Yeller Keys. Whir of a wheel, slap of cards, talk of loss and gain, often mixed with the sound of honeybees in your mind, and little bare feet down a sunny lane. Memories of your mother's face and a touch of girlish lips often made you lose your place as you sat there and stacked your poker chips. And for days and days, you'd hum just one little scrap of tune. Funny place for music, down in old Red Saloon. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loves you so true. an album right after the album that had Wildfire on it, called Blue Sky Night Thunder. And the album was called Swans Against the Sun. I based it on a painting done by a Vietnam veteran from Oregon who came back to Oregon and swore that he would only paint living things and beautiful things for the rest of his life after what he'd seen. At the same time, he never apologized for being in the Army and couldn't understand why people spat on him after he came back from Vietnam. But that's just the way our country was at this time. Don't ever let anybody tell you that this is the most divided time in our nation's history. I kind of think maybe those people never read about the Civil War. Possibly never read about the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s and all the things that happened back then, or the Vietnam War stuff that split us up. So this is called Swans Against the Sun. I think I'll dedicate this tonight to Karla and Ella. Wild grace has its own face, has its own place, prone to flight. Sky grown, wind blown wings over air blown, back tonight. Flashing, freely clashing, love of chaos, love of one. We are bright storms. We're all rising freeforms. We're wild swans against the sun. Spirit, none go near it. All men really fear it in the night. And some say love goes one way, and then someday no more flight. Well, this year it is not clear just what ends here and what's begun. We're all bright storms. We're rising free falls. We're all wild swans against the sun.
back in the year of '83, where he first met pretty Sarah McLean. A wild rose of morning, the pale flower of dawning, bloomed in the springtime of Billy's life that day. Sarah, she could not see the daylight of reality. In her young eyes, Billy bore not a flaw. Knowing that her chosen one once had been a hired gun, wanted in Kansas City by the law. True love has no season, no rhyme and no reason. Justice is as cold as the Granger County clay. Then one day a tall man came riding across the Badlands, lying to the north of New Mexico. He was overheard to say he was looking for Billy Gray, wanted Kansas in a dangerous outlaw. Well, the news, it came creeping to Billy fast sleeping there in the dust of the Clarendon Hotel. He ran to the old church out on the outskirts, thinking he might hide in the old steeple there. But a rifle ball came flying, face down he lay dying, there in the dust of the road where he lay. Sarah ran to him, she was cursing the lawman. The poor girl had no reason except he'd been killed. But true love has no season, no rhyme and no reason. Justice is as cold as the Granger County clay. You know, Sarah still lives in that old white frame house where she first met Billy on the plain. Over the old stone where the dusty winds have blown, 18 words to the passing stranger say, true love has no season, no rhyme and no reason. Justice is as cold as the Granger County clay.
Tonight we have a special treat, something that I've done in the past, but it's rare to get a chance to get them here. Both the people I'm about to introduce have served a period of time as Poet Laureates of the state of Texas. They are both incredible poets, and I've been working with them on a project to write songs with them based on poems that they wrote in a book that's coming out sometime this fall or spring, because of COVID, no publisher can predict anything, but we think it'll probably be sometime for sure. We'll have it out by spring. But I wrote the introduction to the book, but they are the authors of the book. But let me tell you what it took for them to be the authors of the book. The book is called 100 Years of Grace, and it's about the national parks. They spent many years traveling to write poetry about every single national park, and they have both visited every single national park in our nation, including the one in Samoa. And it's quite an accomplishment. The story of their journey is amazing in itself. And when the book comes out, I think you're going to drop your jaw. It's a different kind of book that's ever come out. Instead of being a lot of information about the park and where to camp and who founded it and all that, it's beautiful pictures that they took, plus poetry that they wrote about every park. And I'm proud to be associated with the project and be able to write some songs based on some of their poems, and that will become one of my albums that will come out next year. So they're staying in Raton right now. They've been in Raton for quite a while. Alan has actually moved there, and Karla's been there since June, so they're not violating any rules by being here. They've been here longer than 14 days, and they're both doing very well. I'm going to introduce them both at the same time, and they can come up here and one sit on a stool while the other recites. For all I know, they may have a duet poem. I don't know. But please make welcome to our stage tonight and give them a great big round of applause. Karla K. Morton, Texas Poet Laureate, and Ellen Birkelbach. Texas Poet Laureate.
I'm sure everybody's got a poem about country and western dance halls, but I don't. I didn't have any. I mean, I've got poems about Texas, I got poems about national parks, I got children's poems about ogres. I got so many poems about my ex-spouses, it's crazy. But I didn't have anything about country and western dance halls. So we sat down, we wrote some, we turned them in, and the anthology was published, and some of our poems got in there. Country and western dance halls are a whole unique animal. It's almost like after Urban Cowboy, they became this kind of mythic status where you have to go and you have to dance in a certain direction and you have to wear a certain type of hat and look a certain way, but you got to be authentic. You have to be authentic. And if you're not, it stands out. So this poem's called Dress Code at the Dance Hall. Son, I'm afraid there's a dress code. So let me just stop you right here. You're flashy and pretty and playing the role, but it's just not about what you wear. Yes, I know that I'm only the greeter. Here's some words before stepping inside. A true cowboy is also a gentleman. Don't pretend you can saddle and ride. This stage has seen Haggard and Willie, George Jones, Charlie Pride, Emmy Lou. Your eyes don't show heartache. Your boots are uncreased. I suspect that their songs weren't for you. You say you're just here for the dancing. You might know all the spins and the curls, but I'd bet your cologne might just keep you alone from these authentic rodeo girls. But if you're dead set on some sipping and my speeching is leaving you cold, just leave your hat there on the pegboard. I don't care if that band's solid gold. There's nobody here that will take it. There's no place that hat's going to go. Folks have done sized you up as you stood there. They suspect that you're mostly just show. Son, I'm afraid there's a dress code, and most of us here know our place. These walls have a honky-tonk holy, so we try to show honor and grace. We don't serve your single malt whiskey. We don't serve cigars, and what's more, we'd much be obliged if you wouldn't be checking your emails on the floor. Son, I'm afraid there's a dress code, and your voice is too loud for these walls. It's making you seem that you're something, when you really ain't nothing at all. There's no way to mask up what's inside you. I don't care how those fancy jeans fit. This hall's a good start if you're ready. Learn humility, manners, and grit. There's some people in line here behind you. Their boots are still grimy with sand. Now, son, I'm afraid there's a dress code, so decide on the truth of your brand. Thank you very much.
So, one more song and then we're going to turn it over to Murph, or one more poem. And I came by Red River, both by marriage and by blood. Didn't realize it until after my great-grandmother had passed on. She started writing her memoirs at 90, right? Lived to 102. How incredible is that? In her memoirs, we discovered she spent many years in Elizabethtown. You know the ghost town? Has anyone been out to Elizabethtown out there? All of these years, I had no idea. And then she moved to Raton. So I'd been going to Raton all my life, and then married into Red River when our cabin there's 110 years old. So there's just something about Red River that's, well, you're here. It's just the most beautiful place in the world, I think, and we've been to a lot of beautiful places. So I'm going to leave you with this one, and it's for all the lovers out there. Red River Honeymoon. Why do I travel eastward when all that I want is here? The Sangre de Cristos, uncountable stars, a constant covey of mule-eared deer. Damaged and scarred, looking for my North Star, my old truck broke down on Maine. On the road too long, I needed guitars and song and a couple beers to ease my pain. When somewhere between the mother lode and the stairs to Lost Love Saloon, I first laid my eyes on my Valentine and began a Red River honeymoon. The snow was crisp, the nights were long, the logs gave themselves to the fire. Two lovers began their dance hand in hand while the ravens sang high in the choir. And somewhere between the mother lode and the stairs to Lost Love Saloon, I first gave a kiss to my Valentine and began a Red River honeymoon. Eastbound again, ice fog closing in. I think about those cold cabin nights, a stone fireplace and furs, those dark eyes of hers and the emptiness of these city lights. Because somewhere between the mother lode and the stairs to Lost Love Saloon, I fell in love with my Valentine and began a Red River honeymoon. Guess it's been 20 years since I stumbled here on a night so bitter and long. But here in her arms, beneath a night sky of stars, is where this cowboy belongs. Because somewhere between the mother lode and the stairs to Lost Love Saloon, I fell in love with my Valentine and began a Red River honeymoon. Thank you. That's to all of you lovers.
Me and the boys cinched up our saddles and rode to Sonora last night. Guns hanging proud, tearing out loud for anyone looking to fight. Card cheats and rustlers were rung for their holds when the boys from the old broken old rode up and rained on a street that they named Sonora's Death Row. Whiskey is free in Amanda's saloon for the boys from the old broken old. Saturday night, town of Sonora's the best in all Mexico. They got guitars and trumpets, sweet senoritas who don't want to let you go. You'd never believe such a happy time on a street called Sonora's Death Row. Now me and the boys, we was a-dancing with some of Amanda's gals. I won some silver and 7 card stud. I was out doing my pals when the whiskey and the mezcal and peso cigars drove me outside for some air. Somebody whispered your life or your money. I reached, but my gun wasn't there. Face down in Amanda's back alley, aware of the fool that I'd been. Ran to my pony, grabbed my Winchester, and I entered Amanda's again. There I saw my partners twirling my pistol, throwing my money around. Blinded by anger, I jacked the lever and one of them fell to the ground. Amanda's got silent like night in the desert. My friend stared in pure disbelief. Amanda was kneeling beside the dead cowboy, plainly expressing her grief. As I bowed my head, a tremble shot through me. My 6 gun was still at my side. I reached in my pocket, and there was my money. I fell to my knees and I cried. A nightmare of mezcal was all that it was. Nobody robbed me at all. I wish I was dreaming the sound of the gallows attesting outside the walls. Whiskey still free in Amanda's saloon for the boys from the old broken home. I'd give a ransom to drink there today and be free of Sonora's death row. Give a ransom, drink there today, and be free of Sonora's death row. We lived at a ranch in Taos for many years called River Song. So this song is called River Song or Brennan Song. I fell into a long lost dream. I heard your tune on a memory. Songs float along down in the wind. Overflowing love, no end. River song calling me again. Can I sing along when the sun sets in? River song, can I float along? Can I dance till dawn on a river song? River song. Now ponies race downstream in the wind, chase down the moon in a sagebrush June. Walking rain on a sunset clear. going back in time. I hear the river song calling me again. Can I sing along while the sun sets in? River song, can I float along? Can I dance till dawn on a river song? River song, river song. Probably the most famous outlaw is buried in Fort Sumner, New Mexico. If you ever go down there to visit his grave, I highly recommend that you don't do it on a stormy day if you don't want your hair to stand up on the back of your neck for the rest of your life. The first time I was down there was a storm coming in, the wind was blowing. I could feel the ghost. This outlaw came to New Mexico when he was 12 years old. Just like Red River, there was another mining boom down in Silver City. His mother, who was Irish with the last name of Bonnie, was an Irish washerwoman. And there they lived in the middle of that rough town, Silver City. Someone laid an insult on him when he was 12 years old about his mother. Pulled a gun on him and a gunfight ensued. He was the victor, but it got him in trouble with the law because the lawman was friends with the guy who got shot. He was on the wrong side of the law for the rest of his life. The fact is, he was actually a member of a group called the Regulators, who were like vigilantes. They were in opposition to a crooked ring of men who controlled all the trails and the supply lines along the cattle trails in New Mexico, one of whom was the governor, Lew Wallace. I'll sing you a true song of Billy the Kid. I'll sing you the desperate deeds that he did way out in New Mexico, long years ago, when a man's only protection was a Colt 44. When Billy the Kid was a very young lad in old Silver City, he went to the bed way out in the west with a gun in his hand. At the age of 12 years, he killed his first man. Fair Mexican maidens play guitars and sing all about Billy, their boy bandit king. And ere his manhood would come to an end, he'd notches on his pistol for 21 men. This way Billy the Kid met his fate. The moon, it was high, and the hour was late. Shot down by Pat Garrett, who once was his friend. And this way, Billy the Kid met his end. And it was on the same morning that young Billy died. He said to his friends, "Boys, I'm not satisfied. There's 21 men I put bullets through. Sheriff Pat Garrett's gonna make 22. There's many a young man with face fine and fair starts out his life with a chance to be square. But just like young Billy, who wanders astray and loses his life in the very same way. I'll sing you a true song of Billy the Kid. I'll sing you the desperate deeds that he did. Way out in New Mexico, long years ago, when a man's only protection was a Colt 44. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, saved a wretch like me. Oh, I once was lost, oh, but now I'm found. Oh, I was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, and I have been known as days to sing God's praise. Oh, then when we first begun.
Today, there aren't many of those horses left. But every once in a while, you hear a story about a wild one that's just hard to capture out there. That's what I wrote this song about. not really a song about horses. It's a song about freedom. She comes down from Yellow Mountain on a dark flatland she rides. On a pony she named Wildfire. A whirlwind by its side on a cold Nebraska night. They say she died one winter when there came a killing frost, and the pony she named Wildfire busted down and stalled. In a blizzard he was lost. Ran calling wildfire, calling wildfire, calling So by the dark of the moon I planted, but there came an early snow. Been a hoot owl howling outside my window now, 6 nights in a row. She's coming for me, and on Wildfire we're both gonna go. We'll be riding wildfire, riding wildfire, riding wildfire on gonna leave side busting behind, get the hard times right on out of our minds. We'll be riding wildfire.
I'm on a rundown, I'm out running sundown, I'm thinking I'm on the right track. I'm writing a song as I'm riding along, keeping the sun at my back. Big horse trailer and truck, I can make my own luck as I ride through the sand and the sage. 'Cause it gives me a rush to be busting the brush, acting about half my age. Lone cowboy, I'm doing my best. Lone cowboy, I go everywhere west. Lone cowboy, with my old campfire song. Lone cowboy. I've owned some good ponies, blacks, bays, and blue ronies, grays, palomino.